Last month had been black leather. Before that, African prints. The cop's stare bothered Terrell. Hoping it was someone else under scrutiny, he looked across the aisle at the three transsexuals giggling and whispering and making a big deal out of eating French fries. He eased back to the cop. The cop was smiling at him, a weird smile, almost sad. What did that mean? Terrell returned to his burger, feeling a little out of balance. The Ethiopian waitress brought Nolan's order and watched as he tasted a forkful of pie. "Good," he said, though the coconut tasted like bad pina colada mix and the cream was gluey. He was a practiced culinary liar. As a kid, when his mother had served swill, he'd said "delish" along with Helena and Dad. "Anything else, Officer Dahl?" "Not for now, thanks." "Nothing you've got." "Okay, just let me know." Nolan smiled again, and she left. Terrell Cochran thought, that smile, one happy fucker. No reason for a cop to be happy except he busted some Rodney with no video going. Nolan ate more pie and again aimed his smile at Terrell. Then he shrugged. The pimp looked sideways at Germadine, by now nodding half comatose into her Coke. 5 minutes more, bitch, then back outside for more gravel knee. The cop ate the rest of the pie, finished his coffee and his water, and the waitress was there right away with refills. Bitch. After bringing Terrell's and Germadine's food, she'd mostly ignored them. Terrell lifted his burger and watched her say something to the cop. The cop just kept smiling and shaking his head. The bitch gave the cop his check, and the cop gave her money, and she turned all grinny. A 20, keep it, was the reason. Fuckers always tip big, but this? All that smiling? Must be celebrating something. The cop looked into his empty coffee cup. Then something came out from under the table. His gun. He was smiling at Terrell again, showing him the gun. The cop's arm stretched. Terrell's bowels gave way as he ducked under the table, not bothering to push down on Germadine's head, though he'd had plenty of practice doing that. The other patrons saw Terrell's dive. The transsexuals and the drunken long-haul truck driver behind them, and the toothless, senile 90-year-old man in the first booth. Everyone ducked, except the Ethiopian waitress who'd been talking to the Filipino cashier. She stared, too terrified to move. Nolan Dahl nodded at the waitress, smiled. She thought, a sad smile, what's with this guy? Nolan closed his eyes, almost as if he were praying. Opening them, he slid the 9mm between his lips and, sucking like a baby, fixed his gaze on the waitress's pretty face. She was still unable to move. He saw her terror, softened his eyes, trying to let her know it was okay, the only way. A beautiful, black, final image. God, this place smelled crappy. He pulled the trigger. Chapter 2. Helena Dahl gave me a mourner's account. The rest I got from the papers and from Milo. The young cop's suicide merited only 2 inches on page 23 with no follow-up. But the flashpoint violence stayed with me, and when Milo called a few weeks later and asked me to see Helena, I said, "That one, any idea yet why he did it?" "Nope. That's probably what she wants to talk about. Rick says don't feel obligated, Alex. She's a nurse at Cedars, works with him in the ER, and doesn't want to see the in-house shrinks. But it's not like she's a close friend." "Has the department done its own investigation?" "Probably." "You haven't heard anything?" "Those kinds of things are kept quiet, and I'm not exactly in the loop. Only thing I've heard is the kid was different. Quiet, stuck to himself, read books." "Books," I said. "Well, there's a motive for you." He laughed. "Guns don't kill, introspection does." I laughed back, but I thought about that. Helena Dahl called me that evening, and I arranged to see her in my home office the following morning. She arrived precisely on time, a tall, handsome woman of 30, with very short, straight blonde hair and sinewy arms exposed by a navy blue tank top. The tank was tucked into jeans, and she wore tennies without socks. Her face was a lean oval, well-sunned, her eyes light blue, her mouth exceptionally wide. No jewelry, no wedding ring. She gave my hand a firm shake, tried to smile, thanked me for seeing her, then followed me.